You're also under arrest for racially aggravated public order for the comments that you've said. So the reason, that's fine, the reason for your arrest was for a prompt and effective...
A decorated Australian football hero caught on police body camera, accused of racist abuse. Tonight on The Project, Matildas star Sam Kerr is set to take the stand after an explosive first day of evidence in a London court. The striker is fighting a charge of racially harassing a police officer after a drunken incident in a taxi back in 2023. Today, we finally got to see what happened.
Did you stay on the phone long enough to even speak to someone? That's the thing.
They hung up on us.
Okay, but they wouldn't do that though.
Oh my God.
They wouldn't do that. You should have spoken to the...
You guys are stupid and white. Honestly, you guys are stupid and white. I'm over this shit. This is the world problem. Wait on the call. Wait on the call. Wait on the call.
All right. You're also under arrest for racially aggravated public order for the comments that you've said. So the reason, that's fine, the reason for your arrest was for a prompt and effective...
We are live from the lands of the cooler nation, and 10 News First Europe correspondent John Paul Gonzo was in court. He joins us live from London. John Paul, that footage is extraordinary. Can you tell us what allegedly happened leading up to that moment?
Well, Sarah, the prosecution told the court that Sam Kerr and her partner had been on their way home in a taxi from a night out when there was some kind of dispute in that cab. One of them was sick in the back of it. The driver complained that there was an issue over someone paying the cleaning fee for that. He called police and ended up driving them to the station. When that cab arrived there, officers say they saw Sam Kerr crawling out of the back of the smashed rear window, and also that there had been damage to the passenger screen in that cab separating the driver and Sam Kerr and her passenger. As for Sam Kerr, well, she says that she felt like she was being held hostage. Her and her partner were being driven around, she says, by this taxi driver. They were worried, they were scared, they thought that they were in danger, and that's why they broke out of this cab, because they didn't know what was happening. And this was all captured on longer body cam, which was played to the court. At one point, Sam Kerr essentially said to one of these police officers, "Put yourself in my shoes," as a woman going up against a taxi driver who they didn't know. It was clear she was very scared.
John Paul, if she is found guilty, what sort of penalty is she facing?
The maximum penalty is a jail term. That's obviously at the upper end of the scale. What's more likely is probably a fine of some sort. Of course, Sam Kerr has pleaded not guilty. There's no dispute over the words that she said. That's clearly captured on the body cam. But she denies that those comments were racially aggravated. Ultimately, though, it is up to the jury to decide.
And we know that Kerr will be walking into court again very soon. So what are we expecting today?
So, Sarah, she is expected to take to the stand in the coming hours and to give evidence, to provide her version of events of what happened that night, not only in the taxi, but also later at the police station. Before that can happen, though, we're expecting the police officer who the court heard she abused. He will be cross-examined by Sam Kerr's lawyer a little later on this morning, local time.
OK, John Paul, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Sarah.
And hello again. They control trillions of dollars, move markets, transform nations. In the US, Trump has announced he's creating the country's first ever sovereign wealth fund. So has Australia missed a golden opportunity?
It's a very exciting event.
The very exciting event, the creation of a sovereign wealth fund for the United States.
Which we've never had.
Sovereign wealth funds are basically big piggy banks created by governments using excess cash from budget or trade surpluses, or most commonly, money made from a nation's natural resources like oil and gas. The contents of the piggy bank are then invested to create more cash. In Trump's case, a possible investment in TikTok. Or they're used to improve a country's standard of living. There are more than 100 such funds across the world, managing almost $13 trillion in assets.
We'll have the greatest sovereign wealth fund of them all.
But Trump has some competition on his hands. The world's biggest, Norway. Created in 1990, to manage the massive wealth created by the discovery of oil. Norway's fund is currently worth more than $2.8 trillion. That's about $500,000 per Norwegian. The fund, now one of the world's largest investors, owning an average of 1.5% of stocks listed worldwide.
They started a third of a century ago. They said, we've got oil today, we won't have oil forever, for children, grandchildren, and to smooth it all out over time. We'll stack it away when times are good.
It's the backbone of the country's welfare state, providing Norwegians with generous unemployment benefits, a year of shared parental leave, healthcare, and university that's just about free. Under the Howard government, Australia set up its own future fund in 2006, off the back of a once-in-a-generation mining boom. Kevin Rudd tried to turbocharge Australia's finances through a mining company's super profits tax.
Tax the tax! Tax the tax!
The backlash from big corporations scuttled that idea and his prime ministership, leaving our fund at a modest $230 billion.
Here in Australia, we basically give our gas to multinationals to export, and then they minimise their corporate tax. It's pathological to not say we should be getting a fair return because, as you said, once it's gone, it's gone.
So as the US attempts to build
The greatest sovereign wealth fund of them all.
is it worth reflecting on our own fund and the generation of missed opportunities in making Australia great again?
The world has been paying us a fortune for our rocks, whether it's iron ore or coal. Australia has had spectacular luck, but been spectacularly less good at stacking away money during the good times.
Well, economics expert Steve Hamilton joins us now. Steve, can we become Norway or is it too late?
Norway back in 1990, all that time ago, set up a sovereign wealth fund that basically captured all of the extra revenues Norway gets from oil. Today, it's $2.7 trillion. The future fund, which we have, is about $200 billion, about 10 times smaller. You know, we lost a big opportunity back in 2010 when we got rid of the mining tax to kind of save some of those revenues. If we'd done that, you know, last year, I think we got about $80 billion of extra mining revenue. We have, I think, lost a big opportunity to capture some of those gains from the boom time.
But on the bright side, Steve, a lot of corporations got really rich.
Yeah, and that's nice. That's fun.
Yeah, right.
Good on them. And in the meantime, the government has a plan to direct like some of this $230 billion future fund into housing, energy transition and infrastructure. What do you think of that?
The Future Fund's job is to make money. I think the Future Fund should be focusing on making money because it's taxpayers' money at the end of the day. And if the government wants to do all these other things, then I think they should budget for them, pay for them, and do them, and go to the ballot box and see if the public likes it. I tend to prefer to keep those things separate.
So, but what do we do if we're just making money? When does the money get spent? And then, like, who decides who spends the money? Like, when is it a rainy enough day to do it? Because it's like, if I live in a share house with these guys, and then we have a kiddie.
Keep it realistic.
So we have so Waleed has a house we all rent off him. But if we live in a house and there's a kiddie, like, do we decide that one person is in charge of spending it, or do we all get a say?
Look, I think, you know, one idea, I mean, the Future Fund, for example, what it's actually going to do is it's going to cover the cost of public servants' pensions, which is going to cost a fortune, right? So instead of that hitting the budget, the Future Fund's going to cover that. So setting that up in advance, you know, was one way to deal with this big looming crisis in the future. And it just means the money's there, right? So that if there ever is a need to use it, it's there, right? Or the other thing you could do is obviously just, you know, spend some of the revenues, right? So spend some of the return and have that offset some taxes, you know, lower people's taxes, and you know, that's good for the economy.
What do you make of Trump's sovereign wealth fund plan?
The US government has $36 trillion of debt, and they are adding $2 trillion a year to that debt pile. So if they want to set up a sovereign wealth fund, I'm not really sure where they're going to get the money from.
Well, they're going to get it by buying TikTok.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Haven't you heard?
Yeah.
Should we be investing then in like crypto or maybe Threads?
I like that.
Would that be a good idea?
No, please, no. That's the last thing we want to do, right? What we want to do is we want to lower risk. We want to think about the long term, invest in things that we know over the long term are going to make money. And to be honest, that's the share market, which is mostly where the Future Fund and the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund invest.
Steve, thanks for your advice.
Cheers, guys.
Very interesting.
A pot of money sitting there.
Yeah, but also it makes me so annoyed because that's the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is for the whole nation to benefit from, not just 6 people.
But, sorry, what?
One of whom is at the desk.
Are you getting the money?
No, I don't know where this came from. And by the way, if I'm renting the house, you're definitely not a tenant.
Give me the garage. I'll set up a lounge in the back.
So who's going to be the first romance in the share?
Okay, let's...
Maybe I don't want to know.
What are you annoyed at? The fact we have a future fund or the fact there's not that much in it because we didn't
The fact
pass
that
the
there's
mining
not that much in it. And also, when you look at that, you're like, who's protesting about big miners having to pay an extra tax?
Don't you remember the ad blitz? That was
I do, but why was everyone, we better just give it to them?
No, because it's the argument you always get, which is it'll cost jobs, this is the engine of the economy, you're going to sacrifice all that, the economic growth from that. Like, it's the same argument. It's played out every single time.
Why don't we go?
Oh, here we go.
There's a roster. Every Australian each day gets a go. You get the Sovereign Wealth Fund. You get to go to the casino. All on black. See what happens.
And you want to be my tenant?
Yes, please, Waleed. Please. Guys, Parliament's back. I'll be in there soon with ideas like that. But this morning, our Polly's marked the occasion with a church service where Albo met Snuffleupagus, which is it's a dog so adorable that the PM's voice reached a frequency that I have not heard.
You love Albo. How cute is this little dog? How cute is Bobby? How cute is that little dog?
Not bad. You know, a voice that high can only mean one thing: cute dog or ugly baby.
No babies are ugly, Sam. Time for break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to The Project.
The second person, an 82-year-old woman, has died and Ingham remains cut off tonight as the full extent of the flood damage in North Queensland becomes clear. The town has lost critical infrastructure. There's no power or water. Food is running low. The only way in is by air. Townsville, however, is breathing a sigh of relief. Some houses have been spared after the Ross River peaked lower than expected.
Time now to see what's making news around the world.
A win for US President Donald Trump. He's paused his planned 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 30 days after they agreed to strengthen their borders and crack down on drug trafficking. As part of the deal, Canada will appoint a fentanyl czar. Mexico will send 10,000 troops to its border.
We don't need them for anything.
Former Spanish football boss Luis Rubiales is on trial in Madrid over his Jenny Hermoso kiss after Spain's World Cup win in Sydney in 2023. He's accused of sexual assault and attempting to coerce Hermoso into saying it was consensual. But Hermoso told the court it wasn't and that the incident tainted one of the happiest days of her life. And Danielle Collins has served one up to Aussie tennis fans after copping a hostile reception for her second round win. She told hecklers they were funding her next holiday. Now she's taken to socials to gloat about the 5-star vacay in the Bahamas, supposedly on the money she earned playing at the Oz Open. She even had the cheek to slap her backside again.
Woohoo! Spicy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, didn't she earn it?
She earned it.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Who said there was a problem?
You're coming out swinging.
I thought it was
people are ticked off that she's rubbing their faces in her holiday.
But if they heckle her...
Yeah,
fine.
that's right.
I'll holiday on a heckle.
Yeah, totally.
Do you know the
Give
amount
it
of
to me,
times...
baby. Go on.
The amount of times I've been heckled doing stand-up and then just had to go and, like, sit in the corner.
Yeah.
Get me to the Bahamas. Like, I'm so jealous of her.
All right, it's time for a break. Warm Project after this.
Back Back watching the project. Salito.
Gracias, Walid. Now, big news today, guys. We've probably all seen it. No one is having a worse week than New South Wales Transport Minister Joe Halen. Now, I want to take you through the anatomy of the scandal. This is my media watch moment, guys. On Sunday, it came out that she used a taxpayer-funded chauffeur for a 400-kilometre trip to get what I would describe as langbrooked at a boozy winery lunch.
That doesn't pass the pub test. That's why I'm owning this mistake, apologising for it, and paying the cost back in full.
OK, so didn't pass the pub test, excelled at the winery exam, though, which is good. Now, on Monday, so after speaking to Halen, Premier Chris Minns, he's a good guy, had her back.
I think that there's been a massive but singular lapse here.
OK, not bad. That was also Prince Andrew's excuse, so not a great one, but it's not that bad. But one little whoopsie, that's fine.
And also, he doesn't sweat.
He doesn't sweat, exactly. It's not like there were more incidents, right? Case closed.
Now, more trips have come to light. It's also been revealed that Joe Halen used a parliamentary chauffeur to take her children to weekend sport.
She said to me, absolutely that happened, but straight after that, she was into work.
Huh? What?
Now, work also was at the sport canteen, so that doesn't help her really either. But so there were at least 3 or 4 times, possibly more. Look, it all became a little bit confusing, but at least the Premier kept his nose clean.
Generally speaking, I drive myself on the weekends. I'd knock someone over on, San Susie or Cronulla. Hopefully I wouldn't, but I'd be driving myself on the weekend.
So did he run someone over? OK, well, if you do get hit by Chris Minns, just know it wasn't on the tax dollar, OK? So I guess it's something to take. Anyway, today Jo again fronted the cameras, and to be honest, she sounded a lot like me after my girlfriend asked if I've been drinking.
I've made some mistakes.
Yeah, there we go. Poor old Jo, she had to go. The now former Transport Minister caught the bus home. My name's Walid Ali, you're welcome. I felt like a journalist.
Oh, OK, that's good.
Premier's hitting people, huh?
Wow. I know, it's scary, isn't it?
I know. Let's get some more news now, and it's hard to believe no one was seriously injured when this bus ploughed into a home in Sydney southwest today. After narrowly avoiding another bus and car, investigators are looking at whether a medical episode may be to blame. Neighbours say it sounded like a bomb had gone off. The passengers weren't hurt. The bus driver has minor injuries. The house was empty. The owner had just taken her 3 kids to school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, today's just the first day back to school. It's just shocking what's happened.
Shocking, but it is good to see Chris Minns doing some bus driving. Just pitching in.
Exactly, doing what
around the
he's
place.
do.
Hands on.
All hands on deck.
Except on the wheel.
All right, so great to see you soon.
Let's get some more news now. And Matildas star Sam Kerr is expected to take the stand tonight as her racial harassment trial continues in London. Already the court has seen and heard explosive evidence. Body cam footage showed Sam at the police station following a drunken dispute with a taxi driver in 2023. She's pleaded not guilty.
Did you stay on the phone long enough to even speak to someone? That's the thing.
On us.
OK, but they wouldn't do that, though. They wouldn't do. You should have spoken to the.
Stupid and white. Honestly, you guys stupid and white.
A vigil will be held tonight for 17-year-old Charlize Zamuda, a day after she was fatally attacked by a shark off Bribby Island's Warren Beach. Witnesses say there was little anyone could do to save her. Her family says Charlize was a passionate surf lifesaver with a gift for music. They don't want the tragedy to stop people enjoying the ocean, just as she did.
To have that talent taken away right now, as a dad kills me. She's hopefully upstairs there with my late father and all my family, and they're all looking after her.
Devastating stuff. Today, on World Cancer Day, John Farnham's son James is urging Australians to donate what they can to support cancer research. 2.5 years on from his dad's diagnosis, James says it's a cause that's now very personal. James also revealed his dad's recovery continues and is about to become a first-time granddad who wants to be called Pop.
He has his days where he he's not doing the best. But yeah, he's doing really well, walking and running around the house and, annoying mum, as my brother said. And, it's good that he's starting to get fitter now because now we've got a little one on the way.
That's lovely to hear. Well, Parliament is back and the year's first big political argy-bargy is all about the cost of lunch, specifically whether or not small businesses should get tax breaks to entertain clients.
As Polly's prayed for all their election hopes and dreams to come true.
All of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another.
Literally no one was taking Albo's advice.
This Treasurer, who is out of his depth, he's out of ideas.
I heard Angus Taylor was losing it. I heard he was unhinged.
Including himself.
This is the worst, sloppiest policy put forward by any opposition that I've seen in my entire time since I've been in Parliament, and that was a while ago.
A row of biblical proportions brewing over
Peter Dutton's big lunch.
a coalition plan to give small businesses up to 20 grand of tax deductions for lunches and entertainment.
We are offering a modest tax cut to Australian small businesses at a time where they're seeing record levels of insolvencies.
All that Peter Dutton could find was an absolute stinker of a policy, like a lunchbox that had been left in the bottom of a bag since term 4.
There's a lot of small businesses out there that are doing it really tough. This should be on the agenda. Let's talk about it.
We support this measure from a small business perspective.
Labor today releasing Treasury's estimated costs, $1.6 billion a year at minimum. A whopping $10 billion if each of the 2.6 million eligible businesses cash in.
Peter Dutton wants Australian workers and taxpayers to foot the bill for their boss's long lunch, and the bill will run to billions.
The opposition says it won't cost anywhere near that.
Worked with Treasury to come up with figures that we think and know are absolute nonsense. That'll be under $250 million.
But it's yet to release costings of its own.
We'll put out those costings in advance of the next election.
Aussies so far split on whether it's a vote winner.
I think it'd be good for the economy.
Honestly, I actually think that's kind of a good thing for small businesses.
Somebody could rort the system there. How about a policy for vegan food in offices and locally sourced food?
Well, Samantha Maiden is here to give us her take on the cost of lunch. Sam, Albo teed off the worst, sloppiest policy he's seen in his time, which seems like a big call. You've been in the Canberra Press Gallery long enough for me to be sure you've seen a fair bit of slop in your time. How does this one rate?
That's so rude.
No,
I have seen a lot of slop in my time, and no, of course not. I have seen so much political slop in my time, and this doesn't even come close as I've seen sloppier. Look, I mean, I don't think this is a very fair shake of the sauce bottle. The bottom line is they did get it costed by what's meant to be the Independent Parliamentary Budget Office. They said it was $250 million. They say potatoes, Treasury says potatoes, and they say it was somewhere between 1.6 billion and maybe even 10. So go figure. I mean, I think what's basically happening here is that Peter Dutton, if you had to put up Peter Dutton and Jim Chalmers next to each other, I think you'd put your party money on Chalmers before Dutton. And Peter's just trying to show that he can show us a good time.
Fair enough. What I don't quite get about all this, though, is of all the fights out there, and there are lots of them, nuclear energy, cost of living, all these things happening, why is the government picking this one?
Because it's fun and because they can basically make the whole political debate sound like they're accusing Peter Dutton of carrying on like, one of those characters who's lurching around in a business suit with dim sims slopped all over him. But, I think that we're just trying to have a little bit of fun here, and that's okay. And why not? Well, I mean, we should say there's no alcohol, there's no strippers, and there's no golf. But
yes,
you can eat as many dim sims as you like.
So really, not that much fun, Sam. What do you make of the fact that they made it clear that there were exemptions about using the lunches at the strips?
Well, I think it's fair enough, right? Because they had to. Because otherwise, Channel 7 wouldn't understand, right? Spotlight would go out and try and interview Bruce Lerman and things would go terribly haywire. He's not into that. He never asked for that. It was just that producer. You must have that sort of thing where you work.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't control the producers. They're out of control.
Someone is making a meal of this interview, and it's you, Sam Maiden. I love it.
What do you think? What about lunch in a chauffeur-driven car funded by the taxpayers?
Well, I think you're referring to the unfortunate former Minister for Transport and Good Times, Jo Halen.
Yes.
She paid for her own lunch. She just got a driver to drive her like 244 kilometres. And she also rang up her best mate in politics, Rose Jackson, and said, surprise, I'm going to almost kill your political career by taking you to a 40th birthday you didn't know about in a car that I ordered that I wasn't really meant to.
Wow. We haven't even touched on the vegan policy yet.
Yeah.
Sam Maiden, thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
That was wilder than I expected. Now, the people of Paddington in Sydney, they're not happy. They're not happy with new public toilets installed on Oxford Street to stop drunken sports fans weeing in their gardens. Apparently, they're upset at how fugly, that's a quote, the loo is.
Have you ever said that word ever in your life until now?
No, only when I'm reading the news, Sarah. So they claim it ruins the suburb's heritage aesthetic and could attract drug users. One woman called it an abomination, suggesting it's fine for Blacktown but not Paddington.
Oh my! I have to vomit in that toilet. That's disgusting. Disgusting.
Because there's never any drugs in that area.
No, exactly. I also, though, to defend the great people of Paddington, I did some research in it. Apparently, there's no bidet in the toilet.
There's a problem.
No four-ply
Are
toilet
they the
paper.
ones who need defending, or the people of Blacktown?
I mean,
Slap down Western Sydney to say no to the toilet.
I know. I didn't do it. I'm not an eastern suburbs guy.
You are so eastern suburbs.
Look, I might look like I'm a trust fund kid, but I'm not. How many times do I have to tell people that?
But it is ugly.
Yeah, that's probably
hands down.
What do you want to do your business in?
What? Something beautiful.
Taj Mahal?
Something beautiful?
There's something beautiful for my rose petals.
Oh, my
God. We're off to a break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. Watching the project.
Well, Taylor Swift, destroyer of men, ruthless animal, big hitter. No, not that one. We don't want any bad blood with the Swifties. We mean this Taylor Swift. Yeah, that is a 21-year-old amateur MMA fighter from the UK, and his rather recognisable name is raising eyebrows ringside and right around the world. But this Taylor insists he's never even heard a Tay-Tay song in full.
I thought I'd never say this. Would you please welcome Taylor Swift? This is so exciting. I always wanted to see what Taylor Swift's house looked like. Taylor, this cannot be right, can it, that you've never heard a Taylor Swift song in full?
I haven't actually, yes. This not really my sort of music, but heartbroken love songs, not for me.
I mean, you have proven to be just so delightful, a gift to the world. Your timing is incredible. You share a name with the most famous woman in the world. How is it, Taylor Swift?
I never really noticed it, to be fair. It's like only recently is it sort of come to light, if that makes sense. So I never really noticed it myself. I always had a odd joke here and there. But yeah, recently it's just gone a bit mad.
Yeah, because you've had a very successful world tour.
Yeah.
But at what point did it become an issue? Like, did you really notice? So when you were at school, it was okay?
Yeah, school was always all right. I definitely should have got more abuse than I did, but I didn't. It was only when I started going to the doctors and stuff like that, and they call out other names in the waiting room, I think, oh, I'm next. And then, they check mine out.
Now, Taylor, they say, there's nothing scarier than a dangerous woman. So have you, I don't know if you've seen this, but other Taylor, your enemy, she's actually given the sport a go, a bit of MMA. How do you rate this action? Wow. Oh!
Lethal.
Are you scared?
Oh, I mean, she definitely shouldn't quit singing.
Hang on.
I picked that one up over there.
Why don't you sing something for us now? Let's see your chops.
That's a great idea.
I don't want to told you all that.
Well, look, Taylor Swift fans, the other Taylor Swift, they swap friendship bracelets. It's kind of their big thing. MMA fans, obviously very different. What do your fans swap? Ankle monitors?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Taylor, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You're pretty brave, aren't you?
Yeah,
brave from the other side of the world.
Come at me, Taylor.
Hey, it seems the peak age for happiness and health is 45. Yes, 76% of 40 to 59-year-old Brits say that's when they felt their best and experienced a boost mentally and physically. The survey found 57% also think the idea of midlife being a negative is outdated. 54% agreed that looking after your mind and body is a priority when you turn 40.
See, I would listen more to this survey if it wasn't British.
Oh.
Because I think that on average, their default setting is fairly miserable.
Yeah.
And so asking them when they're happiest is not a reflection on when Australians would be happy.
I feel like it matches up, though. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, but you don't know.
In comparison to, like, what, when you... like,
when I was younger.
You know when you're, like, 8, you just fall over and nothing happens. It's like now
But you can't appreciate that when you're 8.
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But also, I think it's really strange because everyone's talking about the age in retrospect.
Yes.
So you're right, if you're not feeling great where you are, of course you look backwards and go, oh, that was the peak of my life.
I bought some vitamins off the internet and they say I'm going to live forever. So I reckon 135 I'm going to hit my peak probably.
Yeah, good.
Nobody seems to say the peak is at 85, do they? No one ever goes, oh, 85, the happiest year of my life.
85 ain't what it used to be. Don't you know what I mean?
85 is actually like the new 83, if you ask me.
I remember my nan Peggy, like she like at 70, she just wasn't as kind of vibrant as you see people now.
Yeah,
like
right.
Steve Price's mum, Margot, she's what, 90?
Yeah, but as we established, Steve Price's mum is somehow younger than Steve.
I know.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, she's Benjamin Button.
That was...
Yeah.
Bad news, boat lovers.
Oh, no.
Whoever you are. The Spirit of Tasmania 4 will continue to languish unused in a Scottish port while operators try to lease it out. Arrival of the absolute unit has now been pushed back to 2027 while they try to build a berth in Devonport that's big enough.
Well, here with her thoughts is Bass Strait aficionado, registered sea captain and oracle of everything, Mel Button! Mel, we know your seaman. How does it feel knowing that you might not get to see Tassie's new ferry in 2027?
So glad to be part of your last show ever. Very special. Anyway, 2027, it's too far in the future. That's a long time away. How long can it take to build a berth? Like, I have seen stressed couples fully renovate a house in just half an hour with ads on the block. So this long delay, it's a very bad look for the Tasmanian government. And did you know they're actually thinking about changing the ship's name to the Spirit of Victoria?
Oh.
Wow. That's exciting.
Maybe there's a chance it'll make it in before that?
Well, thanks for checking in. But as far as I know, it's very unclear if the ship will make it to Australia on time, but if it's anything like other Australians leaving the UK, we can expect a little added last-minute 3-day stopover through Ibiza.
Hell yeah. Hey, Mel, I actually had no idea that there were 4 Spirit of Tasmanias. That's blown my mind.
Oh.
Well, that's right, Mr. Media. There's 4 huge boats to cover a route that I'm sure even Harold Holt could swim. I think we've gone too far if there are more Spirit of Tasmanias than Police Academy movies. Now, I'm like you, Mr. Media, I'm no expert either. I didn't even realise there were 4 Spirits of Tasmania until today. I only ever knew the first 3, which are rum, whiskey and gin.
Well, Mel, what impact do you think the delay will have on the country?
Look, having this boat stopped from entering Australian waters might serve as a warning for those other naughty boats thinking about coming here, says a new study from the University of Pauline Hanson.
How, though, is this relationship Oh, how it's affecting our relationship with the Scots?
Good question.
Good question. The Scottish government has said that they will think about letting us have our boat back, or we can promise to stop taking all the credit for Bon Scott. Now, if Tasmanians are sad about the long wait for the ship, imagine their disappointment when they actually get on board this thing and realise it docks in Geelong.
Now, Mel, any final words or hope? A lot of the good people of Tasmania, they watch this show. Any words of encouragement for them?
Look, I'm just going to give them this warning. It is costing tens of thousands of dollars a week to store this ship where it is in Scotland, right? So my worry is the Tasmanian government might look at increasing taxes to help cover the costs. So, Tasmanians, you've heard it here first. Don't say you haven't been warned. So, let's get the message around. Steve, can you tell Leanne if she can pass it on to Peter and Rob, who should have Kate's number, then she should be able to let Stuart know. Thanks, guys. Love you, Mel. Love you, Mel. Bye-bye.
She nailed it. Guys, now let's talk spiders. A few of them on this desk, am I right? No. OK. I mean, huntsman spiders. They're scary, they're big. I never know what to do, but this bloke's got the technique down pat.
Oh.
Smart.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all your
good. Traditional.
Oh, shit!
Oh, no.
Let's go now.
Oh, no.
Oh, the corner, that's...
Oh, no.
What's he going to have for dinner now?
It's supposed to be a magazine.
I know. The
And
good
thing over the
Tupperware, I
top,
cannot
good
imagine the trouble I would get in at home if I risked that.
And what do you mean about spiders on the desk?
I was just talking about my 3 close friends, you guys.
Are you referring to our hairy legs?
This is a trap.
See you soon.
Ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes at the project? Be part of our live studio audience to see all the magic, the superstar guests.
I'm so happy to be here.
And you could even find yourself on the telly. For tickets to either our Melbourne or Sydney studio, go to theprojectaudience.com.au.
Project.
Our next guest is a little worried that soon he won't have any vices left.
Every time they ban something, they should have to give us a freedom back, because otherwise, in 20 years, they've just banned everything, and then we can't do anything. So ban smoking if you want. I know it has horrible health effects, but give us back something. Like, give us back school zones. I'm sick of driving 40. You know what I mean? Everyone's complaining that kids are on their phones all the time. Not if I'm going 130 through there, they won't be.
Please welcome Tommy Little.
Here he is. How nice is this?
We're living in a fascist nanny state, aren't we?
Are we? Geez, this is opening more hard-hitting than I thought.
You're the one that wants to do 130 through a kid zone. What other freedoms would you like to see come back?
What do you mean? I mean, running... Sorry, actually, if we are talking seriously, I just want to be able to run around the pool. Like, when did we decide that you're not allowed to run around a pool?
So I thought you meant you weren't allowed to go to the pool anymore.
You drop one too many logs and they never let you back.
And also, I thought we weren't allowed to discuss that.
I really... Edit that bit. This isn't live.
No, it's all good. Now, Tommy, it's so good to see you. You're looking great. You went to Thailand recently, I believe.
Yes.
I saw on your Instagram. How'd you go? Was it a bit of an eat, pray, love Tommy Little situation?
An eat, pray, love?
Yeah.
No. What are you talking about?
I just thought maybe you turned over a new leaf.
Self-discovery. No, I mean, I tried to love as many people as I could. But, no, you know the strange thing? So I went and I actually got pretty remote, and I posted a picture of me in this, like, national park there, and they wrote it up as a story of I'm going into the jungle. And I thought, whoever that's gone into the jungle has posted hints. Do you know what I mean? You just don't hear for them. Yeah. Also, I mean, I've got a job.
Yeah.
Like, I love the show. It's a fantastic show. But it's for people who don't have jobs. Do you know what I mean? I've got a very successful national radio show. Why? Well, no, I mean, we pretend... Hang on, are we all pretending that's not a thing?
Where?
It's for celebrities who don't have jobs.
All I know is
I'm a celebrity's coming for all of us soon.
Why?
Oh,
Don't get me wrong. I'll be there one day. I got 2 years left of my contract, then I'll see you in that jungle and I'll be the first chowing down on those rhino nuts. Oh, there's no animal bits in it anymore. You don't even get to nibble on a rhino testicle. Oh, so now I'm not interested.
Because I wanted to see Hughesy tested by having to nibble some nuts.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, because he's a vegan.
Yes, but he does love a mouthful of nuts. He does. Hughes does. When he's on tour, particularly. Yeah, he does. Hey, can I show you a photo?
I would love to see it.
Can I ask you about a photo?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the same photo.
No, I'll ask you.
Oh, sure, all right, fine. What is happening here?
Yeah, no way, it gets better. Show the big fire one.
That's the big.
Yeah,
that's a
what's
bit bigger.
going on
Yeah.
here?
That's me breathing fire, bro.
What?
So this is a great thing about when you go overseas, right? We've got so many rules here. And when you go overseas, so there was a lady in the street and she was breathing fire. And I went up and I said, can I have a go? And she goes, yeah.
How did you breathe it?
Yeah,
what
how
did
do
you
you
do?
You know how you breathe.
Yeah.
It was just like that, but fire. What's your guy's superpower?
Do you put something in your mouth and then you
Yeah, I don't know what it was I put in my mouth.
Metho?
No, well, she had it in
Which,
a...
by the way, wouldn't be the first time.
No. She had it in a... she just had a Powerade bottle, and I asked, can I have a go? And she hands me a thing on fire and a Powerade bottle, and I just put something in my mouth and went... And it's cool. I thought it would get me laid, and it didn't. But how hard are women to impress if you can breathe fire? And that is not enough. What are we meant to do? What do you do? You get so much action, bro. What do you do? You guys don't know this, but Waleed is like the king of the boss. He gets so much action.
Can I just
what's your secret?
I just want to put something to
Do I need to be smarter? Like, what do I need to do? Like, how does Tommy get more action? That's something we need to talk about. Is that? Are you still doing that? Is that a catchphrase?
The answer is yes, but that's just a general yes. Can I just put to you that maybe it's not as impressive as you because
breathing fire is not impressive.
Because if we zoom in on that photo, there's a guy in the background and he does not.
I think as long as we're looking at the guy in the background, we're not looking at the munted head in the foreground. So that's not bad.
Does that photo answer several of your questions at once?
He wouldn't rip me either, that guy. No one!
It looks like you drank the Powerade bottle, is what it looks like.
It does look like that. It does look like that. Hey guys, I'm doing a stand-up comedy tour.
Wow,
I'm going all around the country, and
It's called Not Proud?
It's called I'm Not Proud, and it's about all my failures in life. I'm lucky for you guys, there's heaps. I'd love to see you there. Please come along, and I'll breathe fire if you'll root me. We're getting wrapped.
That's we're getting wrapped at that moment.
But what can you do with a ping pong ball? Go for it!